specific legislation that governs the monitoring and evaluation of its policies, its programs, its capital projects, including donor-funded projects. The international best practice indicates that a special agency, commission, or ministry, as in some countries including Ghana, South Africa, Mexico, Canada, Australia, the United States of America, and many more, effectively and efficiently monitor and evaluate their policies, programs, and projects, guided by legislation that maintains their operational independence and legitimacy. This Act, as linked to the National Monitoring and Evaluation Policy and Strategy, is to improve the performance of ministries, departments and agencies, local councils, and any entity that does work for public sector for effective service delivery by enhancing their capacity to deliver results on their policies, programs, and projects based on the National Development Plan and other global initiatives. The Act itself aims to support and enhance the following additional expenditure control mechanisms. 6. Develop a national monitoring and evaluation system for planning, monitoring, and reporting on development results, referred to as results-based management, wherein development targets will be set at the start of each year, and senior managers will be accountable for delivering on these results. End of quote. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the government has piloted many of these initiatives already. In the Ministry of Education, results-based financing has been deployed effectively over the last couple of years. And recently, the NAMED just launched what we call the NAMESIS, which is an information system that incorporates and includes all of the projects that we have in the annual work plan. Secondly, in the state opening of the second session of Parliament in 2019, His Excellency also stated that, and I quote, additionally, a Directorate of Monitoring and Evaluation has been established. It is currently working on a blueprint for monitoring the National Development Plan, all government and donor-funded public sector projects, bilateral and multilateral agencies and NGOs. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of Parliament, this Directorate, since its founding, has been effectively working across government to ensure that it does deliver and implement on these initiatives, including the few that I mentioned earlier. Third, the then Minister of Finance, Mr. Jacob Jusuf, in his 2019 budget speech to Parliament stated that, I quote, one major challenge of capital budget management is weak monitoring and evaluation. Although there are monitoring units in the various MDAs, there is apparently no national monitoring system that links with the various MDAs and project units. More importantly, the disbursements on capital projects are not triggered by monitoring reports. The Finance Act of 2019, Article 31, also emphasized the role of national monitoring and evaluation. It was important that we mention this because this particular need was motivated by the Ministry of Finance, which is the entity that manages our budgets effectively. 4, Cluster 8 of the Medium-Term National Development Plan for 2019 to 2023 emphasized the importance of monitoring and evaluation and delivery on the key sector-level indicators for the development aspirations of Sierra Leone. I want to assure you, Mr. Speaker and honorable members, that the next National Development Plan, which will be launched in a couple of weeks, by His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio, will also and does in fact center monitoring and evaluation as a key component to how we deliver on our development and national priorities. 5, the delivery of results that impact and transform lives was a key campaign premise by His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio that now requires evidence to secure the trust and confidence of the people of Sierra Leone. I'm sure that as honorable members during your campaigns yourself, you made promises to the people of this country, and the people of this country expect that we can go back to them from the executive and the legislative and report to them on things that have been done. And the National Monitoring and Evaluation Agency will make life easier for all of us in that regard. I want to speak about the benefits of this National Monitoring and Evaluation Act, because it will ensure robust monitoring and evaluation systems essential to guarantee that government initiatives are achieved and that where they fall short, we're able to quantify and measure areas of improvement. The achievement, relevance, and visibility of government initiatives as highlighted across government therefore provides incentives to ensure that public policies, programs, and projects are designed and delivered on from an open government perspective. The reports that will emanate from the National Monitoring and Evaluation Agency will be made available to the entire public. And this will not only build on the confidence of the people, but it will also be a means by which we can expand and improve our access to resources for development. Sound M&E helps to identify challenges and obstacles that hinder effective policy, program and project implementation. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, this act is not to replace audit services, it's not to replace ACC, it's not to replace FIU and any of the other accountability measures that are in place, but rather it's to provide materials and information and data that will be useful to enhance the delivery of those other entities of government. And to support this, we're pushing that the cadre of monitoring and evaluation staff be introduced with hierarchical progression in the civil service from the level of an officer up to becoming a director. The agency will be authorized to raise and account for funds by seeking allocation of funds from the consolidated budget and donor partner funding, and to enable the agency to efficiently manage its operations, maintain a monitoring and evaluation management information system, and archive the database such that it can be available for all of our use. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I could go on and on about the impact that we expect from making this bold and ambitious move as a country. But the importance and coordination across finance, planning, audit services, anti-corruption, and other similar state institutions with regards to its proposed powers to monitor and evaluate government and donor projects, programs, and accounts will elevate our country's aspirations and ambitions when it comes to achieving and accelerating towards our national development plan. As you heard from me when I spoke, we didn't just wake up and come up with this act. His Excellency in 2018 mentioned it, our ambition. In 2019, the Minister of Finance then presented the objective and approach to it. And over the last couple of years, the directorate that was established has been working and consulting across government with the Parliamentary Committee on Finance and Accountability, with the Council of Paramount Chiefs, local councils, Association of Non-Governmental Organizations, National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, right across the board. Yes, there will be financial implications. And that's why we not just ask and seek your support for the establishment of this agency, but we hope and pray that you will continue to advocate for its expanded budgetary allocation, and that you will help advocate for it to also have access to the donor financing in your line of work. We will seek your support to ensure that this agency is set up with the right footing to succeed. There are legal implications. Chapter 9 of the Civil Service Code regulations and rules regarding appointments of officials will be effective. Section 70 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone, Act number 6 of 1991 regarding the power of appointment vested in the President will be considered. The definition of public service and the relationship thereby as proposed in the monitoring and evaluation cadre will also be considered. We hope and anticipate that the debates that will follow in this period will seek to improve the draft bill that you have in front of you, such that by the end of the day, what we have will be amongst the best across the world. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to assure you that as Chief Minister, we will do everything we can in the executive of government to promote transparency, to ensure effective and judicious public expenditure. And this move is in line with improving His Excellency's ambition of having a transparent, effective governance delivery architecture. I thank you for your audience, and I look forward to answering any other questions that you may have during this period. Thank you. And thus having us meet our goals. Finally, I want to end by saying that the conversations that we have, the establishment of this agency, the recruitment, the M&E, is to coordinate. It is in line with what government is trying to do. Efficiency, making sure that all these M&E units that exist, who currently can monitor and report in ways that we don't get to see, we're able to coordinate and use all of those effectively so that we can support you in your oversight, we can support the Ministry of Finance in their budget monitoring, we can support MOPED in their PIP projects, we can support NPPA and every other entity, ACC as well, in them being able to deliver on what they do. I want to end by thanking all of you for these great ideas, and I look forward to going to the committee stage. And with that, honorable members, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I would like to again move that the bill entitled the National Monitoring and Evaluation Agency Act 2023 be read a second time. Thank you. This is essentially us trying to optimize impact at the national level.
As far as I know, this is about governance, it's about accountability, and all of that.
And I think, Mr. Chair, when it comes to having access to records, you are not going to be able to evaluate if you don't have access. You are not going to be able to assess impact if you don't have access to those information. I don't think this is about one entity feeling that they are more important than the other. They are all institutions of government. And Mr. Chair, if you, just to read what we had said, which I think addresses the point, just for emphasis, we're saying the agency shall have, for the performance of its functions under this Act, and in collaboration with other government institutions, including NPPA, Audit Salon, Audit Services, Stats SL, ACC, Ombudsman, have the power to do A, B, C, D, E, F. I think, yeah, that's what we suggested as a middle ground.
Mr. Chairman.
And I'm not going to infer that this is for specific for the head of NPPA or the head of the current NAMED. And I agree with the deputy leader.
Your mic is on?
Yes.
Yes.
I agree that we should make laws not for the individuals who are in the positions,
yes,
but for the institutions.
These are transient positions.
And I will make one example.
Today, tomorrow you are not there.
The Minister of Trade was Minister of Trade when the NIB was being developed. And it pleased His Excellency that he is now at the NIB. I think if we don't make laws that are responsive of us, independent of who, the head of NAMED can go to NPPA tomorrow. The head of NPPA can go to NAMED tomorrow. And I think we have to note that as we develop these laws. That's just what I wanted to ask.
You know, laws are not meant.
These first relationships are the exceptions, they are not the norms. Most heads and deputies work well. The ones that don't work well are what we see. And I think it's okay because of the specialization required here for the Director General and the deputies to be appointed by His Excellency. Mr. Chair, I wanted to, on 16.1, to support what the honorable member there was saying. So that recruit with the approval of the board, because we don't want the Director General in this instance to just be recruiting without recourse to the board. So on 16.1, we want to change appoint to recruit with approval by the board as an addition.
Yes.
And one way perhaps is to say all of those entities are answerable to the House of Parliament anyway, and it will come to the Parliament, so I would imagine that the Parliament can take action. But the other way that I also wanted, because we had said in 13 that we will work in collaboration with those entities, the Ombudsman, for example, does take action for citizen action, ACC for criminal action.
I think we need the whole clause. Either a clause or a sub-clause to say, well, we find somewhere to do that, where after the report, in the report there are recommendations, institutions are duty bound to implement the recommendations, failing which there should be sanctions if they fail to implement recommendations. There should be sanctions. So how do we coin the sanctions? And where do we...
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I don't think we need it. That one is...
The list of all those bills go back less than 2018.
Yes, Chairman Legislative, are you paying attention?
If you
Can you
give me,
compile a list of all of those bills we've done where the ministers are supposed to come here with the resolutions? Compile all of those and give them to the Chief Minister.
yes, sir.
That the Chief Minister will urge them to do the resolutions. Otherwise,
Move that parts 1 to 6, clauses 1 to 25, stand parts of the bill as amended. To the National Monitoring and Evaluation Agency Act 2024, having gone through the committee of the whole House with amendments, I now move that the bill be read the third time and passed into law.
Honorable